The need for instructional leadership has never been more important in our nation's schools. The tidal wave of changes over the past decade in education policy, not to mention societal and generational shifts, has altered the way our classrooms need to operate and how our instruction leads to learning. What is clear now is that the training needs of leaders within these new environments has also changed, shifting the way in which we support leaders to be successful in their work, and the knowledge, skills, and dispositions necessary to generate that success has been the primary focus of two Connecticut districts, West Hartford Public Schools and Canton Public Schools. The impact of their professional learning programming on their leaders, teachers, and students is clear. In the past 5 years, we've had the opportunity to work with over 50 districts here in Connecticut, as well as with the Connecticut State Department of Education's Talent Office. And while each of the districts that we've worked with has done a truly an excellent job in committing to their staff's professional learning, what we've seen happen in West Hartford and Canton truly has made a difference. We see a laser-like focus on leadership development with the target of improved outcomes for kids through high-quality classrooms. This fall, we held a roundtable discussion with some of the leaders from these two districts to talk about the impact their district's professional learning has had on them, their teachers, and their buildings as a whole.
Just from a district perspective, it's helped us tremendously to really focus on what's happening in the classroom, and particularly what our administrators are doing to assist teachers relative to improving student learning. It's really helped us as a district that from a human capital standpoint, I don't believe we had the capital to really provide all the expert training that we've been receiving and to bring in a consultant to really guide those conversations and really drill down and have experts come in and work with our staff.
Well, I think as a district, we needed someone to help us start that conversation. And we needed to engage our members in that conversation because everyone, I think, was a little anxious and skeptical over new initiatives around teacher evaluation. And so we had to bring that level of anxiety down, and people were invested in the process. And the outcome of it was critical, which was a common language for people, a common definition and a common way to articulate what we would define as exemplary performance in a classroom.
What was exciting about it was that the work was grounded in our own instructional framework. So I'm sure you found it, Ken, as we found. This was a framework developed by our teachers, and we were then determining what those attributes of quality teaching and learning looked like and sound like in a classroom, but it was grounded in our own frameworks. And that's important. It's not something we purchased or bought wholesale from something. It was our own lens on our own framework, and I think that brought a sense of validity to the process and made the teachers and leaders who were involved in the development of our instructional framework feel that much more validated for what they brought to the table. So it wasn't a top-down process. It was really taking work done by a team and bringing it forward.
And the trust factor, I think, evolved from that.
I came into this process as a brand new administrator, and the most valuable piece for me was sitting through collegial calibrations and really looking deeply at our instructional framework and going through that process with not only other elementary principals, but secondary principals, assistant principals, as well as department supervisors. And it really helped me, somebody coming in thinking, I really need to be the master of the content that I'm watching and look at that piece to really effectively evaluate teachers. It really broadened my perspective to take a step back and look at just purely teaching and learning in the classroom and what that looks like from those different perspectives, people at different levels. Really helped me understand how the instructional framework applied to a really large variety of classroom settings.
That was probably one of the most powerful parts for me, is to go into a room with 6 or 7 other colleagues who who I respect, and then when you come back out and you talk about what did you see, and you get, everyone's great at something when they go into a classroom to observe, but to hear and get the best of what everyone has to offer and then bring all of that into my practice. I mean, I'm literally creating twice as much, or collecting twice as much data as I used to when I come out of an observation. Because now I'm looking at it through, this is what Natalie sees, this is what Ryan sees, this is what Jerry sees.
I think we started with what kind of evidence do you gather, how much? Yes, the multiple viewpoints on one, kind of zooming in on this thing when I go into the classroom, and some of the colleagues, our colleagues would be focusing on other things. So kind of broadening our skill set to say, here's a robust piece of evidence. And then going back to those descriptors of what the exemplary practice looked like. Great, I just walked out of a classroom with a whole bunch of evidence. Now, have I effectively tied it back to that rubric? And then the so what part of the conversation, so what? And that actually brought us back to the evidence, because more and more over time, we're making the shift to what the outcome is from student learning. So just taking a look at beyond some initial engagement, beyond some initial questions, what are we seeing as a result? So we kind of started with that broadening of evidence. We had to make sure it was connected back to the rubric and know where pieces of evidence were connected back to our rubric. The so what conversation with the teachers, what's your next step, regardless of where that piece of evidence falls on the rubric, what's the next step? And then over time, it's kind of led us right back to the evidence piece to say, what are we seeing as a result from students to show that they do have it, they don't have it, how do they have it, where are they missing, and what can happen differently in the classroom to help get them along.
Clean Connect action has come up a couple times in the conversation. That had the largest impact on me as an observer. And then during that post-observation meeting, because what I found myself doing prior to all this training was the teacher was solidly in that 3 range in a 4-point rubric. I did a lot of Clean Connect, right? This is what I saw, this is how it connects to the rubric. Nice job, right? If they fell below the 3, then I would get involved in the action. Well, this is what we need to do to move forward. And after Clean Connect action, I can sit with my 3 teachers and help them get to that 4. So now that action piece is a part of all of the post-observation meetings. Regardless of where you fall on the rubric, there's always a so what, as you mentioned. There's always the next steps for you. And that has had a huge impact on teachers that are used to hearing, great job. Now, but what's next for you? And how do I help you get even better and improve your practice? And the teachers have been very happy with that feedback because they want to improve too. They want to get to that next step as a professional. So just that action piece and how it connects to all teachers and not just the ones who are struggling.
What West Hartford and Canton Public Schools have accomplished in the past 4 years through targeted training and support for its instructional leaders has had a direct impact on teachers and students. In a 2015-2016 survey, 80% of the teachers rated the overall effectiveness of the feedback provided through the Educator Evaluation Program as very effective or effective in helping them understand how their practice impacted student learning during their observed lesson. Supporting teachers by shifting their observations from a simple assessment of practice to a careful examination of student learning has helped these 2 Connecticut districts create more substantial and meaningful outcomes from their ongoing supervision and evaluation practice. For more information on how these 2 districts developed and delivered their professional learning programming, or if you'd like to see the full roundtable discussion with these 2 districts, visit our website at www.revisionlearning.com.